Hello students, welcome to class 11 biology. We will continue with the lesson biozoology, a respiratory system. Last class we have seen about breathing and inspiration, expiration. Now we will learn in detail about exchange of gases. Primary site for the exchange of gases. Primary is the main site for exchange of gases is the alveoli. Last class we have studied alveoli. So it is a highly vascularized air sac that is present in the lungs. So if you are asked to define alveoli, how should you say? It is a highly vascularized air sac. Okay, so the uptake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide occur between blood and tissue by the process of simple diffusion. By the process of simple diffusion, this word is important for 1 mark, and driven by the partial pressure gradient. What is gradient? Difference in the pressure, okay, of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Partial pressure is the pressure contributed by the individual gas in a mixture of gases. Follow? So you have a gas, that is a mixture of gases present. The pressure exerted by oxygen is the partial pressure of the oxygen. Yes, it is represented by PO2. So PO2, partial pressure of oxygen, and PCO2 is a partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Okay, so as you know, from the alveoli air should enter, oxygen should enter into bloodstream, from blood carbon dioxide should enter into alveoli and it should be sent off. Okay, so coming to the next important part of respiratory system is respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin in the case of human being. Okay, hemoglobin belongs to the class of conjugated proteins. Protein, you know, it is a biomolecule. It is made of amino acid. Hemoglobin is a special kind of protein that helps in the respiratory process, that helps in carrying oxygen. Okay, so this protein is called as conjugate protein because it is conjugated, it is attached with the inorganic substance. Do you follow? The protein plus iron only constitute the hemoglobin, so it is called as conjugated protein. The iron containing pigment, that iron is called as heme. Okay, they constitute only 4%, and the rest 4 other than the 4% is colorless protein, that is called as globin. Okay, belongs to the class histone. Globin belongs to the class histone protein. Hemoglobin has molecular weight of 68,000, that you should by heart that value. Okay, so then we have 68,000 Daltons. Okay, so the molecular weight is 68,000 Dalton. It contains 4 atoms of iron which can combine with the molecular oxygen. Then we have methemoglobin. If iron component of the heme is or in the ferric state than the normal ferrous state, it is called as methemoglobin. Okay, so methemoglobin, it has got the iron in a different form. Okay, so here the partial pressure is given for the inspired and expired air. PO2 is partial pressure of oxygen is 159 millimeter mercury. Hg is mercury. Once it is going to alveoli, there the exchange occurs. Oxygen is getting in and carbon dioxide is left out to the alveoli or alveolar air sac, and then the air is expired with the partial pressure exerted by carbon dioxide from the body. Okay, so next we have got the respiratory gases. There the values of the partial pressure is given. You can learn by heart for your 1 mark question. Then we are going to learn about transport of gases. So transport of oxygen, molecular oxygen is carried in the blood in 2 ways. They can be bound to the hemoglobin within the red blood cell. Okay, and then oxygen is poorly soluble in water, and 3% of oxygen is transported in the dissolved form. 97% of oxygen binds with hemoglobin in a reversible manner. That is, it can again come back to the oxyhemoglobin. The rate at which hemoglobin binds with oxygen is regulated by partial pressure of oxygen. Each hemoglobin carries about 4 molecules of oxygen that we have learnt already. Okay, so in alveoli, high PO2. What is high PO2? What did I tell you? PO2, partial pressure of oxygen. Okay, so then low CO2. What is low CO2? Partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low. Low temperature and less hydrogen ion concentration. As you know, hydrogen ion concentration means pH, okay, which determines the acidity of the substance or the submaterial. Okay, so then favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin. And in tissues, partial pressure of oxygen is low in tissues, and carbon dioxide pressure is high because oxygen is being utilized. Follow why it is high? Carbon dioxide is high, oxygen is getting utilized, and carbon dioxide is released off in the formation of energy. As we were discussing in the starting part, what is it? Energy is released in the form of ATP molecule. Okay. High hydrogen ion concentration and high temperature favors the dissociation. What is dissociation? See, oxygen is attached with hemoglobin. So oxygen has to be detached from the hemoglobin. That is what is called as dissociation. Why should it get dissociated? Then only it will be made available for the mitochondria to produce ATP molecule. Follow? So next we are going to learn about the sigmoid curve. So you can see that is what is the explanation given there. Partial pressure of oxygen and percentage saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen. Okay, so increase in partial pressure. So you can see the scale. Partial pressure, once it is getting increased, the percentage saturation of the hemoglobin with the oxygen is also getting increased. Under normal physiological condition, every 100 ml of oxygenated blood can deliver about 5 ml of oxygen to the tissues. Okay, so next we have learnt about the transport of oxygen. Now coming to transport of carbon dioxide. Blood transports carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs in 3 ways. Okay, so what are the 3 ways? Dissolved in plasma, bound to hemoglobin, or as bicarbonate ions in plasma. So dissolved in plasma, about 7 to 10% of carbon dioxide is transported in the dissolved form in plasma, and it can be bound to hemoglobin, about 20 to 25% of the dissolved carbon dioxide. Okay, so then as a bicarbonate ions, it can be removed, and this is influenced by partial carbon dioxide pressure in the blood. Okay, RBCs contain high concentration of the enzyme, okay, that is carbonic anhydrase, where a small amount of carbonic anhydrase is present in the plasma. At the tissue, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is very high because of the catabolism. What is catabolism? It is a part of metabolism. What is catabolism? It is a part of metabolism. Anabolism plus catabolism is called metabolism. Catabolism is the breaking down process. Okay, so catabolism and diffuses into the blood to form the bicarbonate ions. Okay, in such way also the carbon dioxide can be removed. Okay, addition of carbon dioxide with water to form the carbonic acid. Okay, so coming to the next part of the transport of carbon dioxide, we will learn about the regulation of respiration. See, whatever be the action happening in our body, or the physiological part that is happening in our body, that is in turn controlled by the nerves, that is what is called as regulation of respiration. A specialized respiratory center is present in medulla oblongata. Do you follow what is present? Where it is present? Medulla oblongata. It is the hind part of the brain. Respiratory rhythm center is responsible for regulation. Pneumotaxic center present in pons variouli. Okay, so these parts we will learn once we learn the nervous system. Okay, so here the respiratory rhythm center to ensure the normal breathing. They are chemosensitive. They are sensitive to acids and the presence of acidic condition. The receptors associated with aortic arches, carotid arches, they send the necessary signals for the regulation of the respiratory rhythm. Okay, so once this air sac is getting filled up, what should happen? There should be the air which is inspired should be left off. Okay, otherwise there will be the bulging of lungs for the longer period will occur. Okay, once air is getting filled in the air sac, it is just sent off. Okay, again it should be taken in and it should be given off. That process is regulated by the brain. So problems in oxygen transport. Sometimes when we go for the higher altitude, we may find some problem in the oxygen transport. It's because of the partial pressure is lowered in the acute mountain and it may cause a sickness that is called as acute mountain sickness, where person moves on a long-term basis to the mountains from sea level as the body begins to make respiratory hematopoietic adjustments. To overcome the situation, kidney accelerate the production of the hormone called erythropoietin. So first we have seen the control of the nerves for respiration. Do you follow? The nervous system, that is what we were learning about, the regulation of respiration. That regulatory center or pneumotaxic center is present in medulla oblongata. Now we are learning about regulation of respiration by hormones. That is, the hormone name is erythropoietin, that is secreted by kidney, which stimulates bone marrow to produce more of RBCs. When a person descends deep into the sea, the pressure in the surrounding water increases. So do you know, when you go deep into the sea, pressure is more, okay, which causes lungs to decrease in the volume. This decrease in the volume increases the partial pressure of the gases within the lungs. This causes beneficial because it tends to drive additional oxygen into the circulation. But this benefit also has risk. The increased pressure can also drive nitrogen into the circulation. We should not have nitrogen in the circulation. If it is so, it may cause some necrosis. Necrosis is inactive form. Okay, it may make us inactive because of the presence of the nitrogen. Okay, when diver ascends to the surface too quickly, condition is called as bend or decompression sickness occurs. Nitrogen comes out of the solution while still in blood, forming bubbles. Small bubbles in the blood are not harmful, but larger bubble may log the capillaries. So decompression is a sickness associated with the pains in the joints, muscles, and neurological problems including stroke. The risk of nitrogen necrosis and bends in the common scuba divers. Okay, during carbon dioxide poisoning, the demand for oxygen increases. As the level of the oxygen increases, they feel the suffocation and they become bluish in color. Okay, so that is about when you are going to higher altitude, when you are going deep into the sea. We have discussed so far about transport of oxygen, transport of carbon dioxide, regulation of respiration by nervous system, regulation of respiration by the hormone, and what will happen when you go into the higher altitude, when you go too deep into the sea, and what is the sickness faced by the swimmers. Okay, and disorders of respiratory system. Actually, these disorders are the common disorders that you can learn by yourself. I just give the outline of it. Asthma, this may be the inflammation. Inflammation is like swelling inside. Okay, so that may be caused by the allergy that will not allow a person to breathe freely. Emphysema is a chronic breathlessness. This is also caused by the breaking down of the alveoli. Bronchitis, so once a bronchi is getting inflated due to pollution. You follow? Because of the pollution, it may get inflated, it may become bulged. Okay, so that also may cause the shortness of breath. And there is a word given, sputum in lungs, that is a mucus. When we say we have cold, that time you get something called mucus. When you cough, you get something along with your saliva, that is called as the sputum. Okay, so pneumonia is inflammation of the lungs due to the viral or bacterial infection. So then you have about the tuberculosis caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and this may affect the lungs and may also affect all the other vital organs of the body. Then occupational respiratory disorder. So as you know, the occupation is the working area. Maybe due to the work industries, a person may get the disorder in the respiratory system. That is what is discussed in the occupational respiratory disorder. Okay, so long exposure to the industrial waste which contains the silicose and asbestos may cause the respiratory disease. Okay, that can be described as silicosis and asbestosis. And effects of smoke, as you know, the smoking can cause cancer. Smoking is inhaling the smoke from the burning tobacco that can cause the necrosis in the lungs because it contains the substance called as the nicotine, tar, and carbon monoxide is produced, and ammonia, sulfur dioxide, and even small quantities of arsenic is being present. The carbon monoxide and nicotine damages the cardiovascular system. So do you know the meaning for cardiovascular system? That is the heart and the blood vessel. Okay, so nicotine is a chemical that causes addiction and stimulant which makes the heart beat faster. Why the heart should beat faster? To get more of the blood, because the blood is not supplied in a proper quantity. Why the blood is not supplied? The blood vessel has become narrowed down because of the presence of this nicotine. So the heart has to beat in a faster rate. Okay, coronary heart diseases may be because of the presence of the carbon monoxide. So this may cause the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So apart from all these cancer and other cardiovascular disease, this can cause COPD. COPD is important for 2-mark question. When a person smokes, nearly 85% of the smoke released is inhaled by the smoker, and the 15% is affecting the passive smokers who are standing beside the active smoker. So far we have learned about the respiration and respiratory mechanism and what are the steps involved in respiration, nervous control, and disorders in respiratory system. So with that, this lesson is over. We will continue with circulatory system in human being. So please take notes once you listen to the class. If you have any doubt, that can be clarified during live session. Thank you, students.